Well, good morning, good afternoon, and evening, wherever you're tuning in from. Welcome to the TAFO, Truck Around and Find Out podcast, where we discuss some fun and hot topics surrounding the trucking industry, safety, community, and just kind of what we got going on here in northern Colorado. I'm one of your hosts, Keith Couch with Rush Truck Center. Also have Rocky Mountain Peterbilts on YouTube. And Ryan Byers is also with us. He has Front Range Compliance in DOT University. Morning, Ryan.
Good morning, Keith. How are you doing?
Good.
Good.
We have a guest here this morning.
We do. Yeah, one of our first and most renowned guests I think we'll ever have in the history of TAFO.
I don't know about
Easy.
Yeah.
So, Mr.
You had to get
Eric,
up before breakfast, didn't you?
I did.
To get here.
I just rolled out of the rack this morning just
Insurance.
to get to the podcast.
Eric Zurbrigen from Flood and Peterson. Fantastic. Eric, thanks for joining us. So, Eric, how was your weekend?
It was good. I got to spend some time with the grandkids myself, and total chaos. And yesterday, got to relax pretty much all day. So that was nice.
Tell me about these grandkids. How many do you have?
I have 3. I have a 5-year-old, a 4-year-old, and a 6-month-old. And we all went to Chili's in Brighton. And Chili's is not what I remember it. It's been a while. And then we went and watched movies at one of my daughter's house.
Oh, fantastic.
Yeah, great.
That's fun.
Fantastic. Yeah, love spending time with the grandbabies. But the best part, too, is we get to spend time with them, spoil them, and send them home.
Mm-hmm.
Don't have
Give
to
them a
be
Snickers and a Mountain Dew and say, see ya.
It's not my job to be the disciplinarian. So
That's right.
I just look at the parents and say, oh, that's your problem, not mine.
Mm-hmm.
So when you said Chili's isn't what you thought, what do you mean?
Well, people of a certain age used to think Chili's was the bomb, right?
Yeah.
And that would be me in the late 80s, 90s. And when we got to go to Chili's, it was a big treat. And then after a 25-year layoff of Chili's, I went in there, and it's just not what I remember it.
Well, the Chili's here in Loveland used to be fantastic.
Used to be.
Used to be.
Yeah,
we went in there a year ago or so, and I was like, whoa.
I think it died when they killed their Cool Baby Back Ribs commercial. You know, you had the song, the jingle. I mean, down off of, what is that, Arapahoe Road? When you drive to the end of Arapahoe Road, they have a Chili's that's built like a brick chili, you know, up on the hill. I don't know if you've ever seen that one. But it was a big deal, you know, back in the 90s and early 2000s. But, it seems like it's just gone downhill.
Particularly frustrating because the food on TV and in the commercials is not look like the food that they put in front of you when it's all said and done.
I would agree.
That is true. That is true.
I would agree.
Well, I have fun this weekend. I took my lovely wife, Holly, out to dinner. We went and got some food in Loveland, and then we went and checked out the Melania movie. So don't know if you had heard about that one, but it was really good. It was good. It was just the story of the 20 days leading into the inauguration of everything that she was going through, getting it all lined out. And I thought it was pretty good. I think it's good because we don't really hear much about her. I mean, the media doesn't have her. They don't talk about her. They don't do anything. So you get little bits here and there. But it was pretty refreshing. So kind of to see that side. I think the one thing that just really kind of blows my mind is to see the different level of lifestyle. You know, you really kind of got to see that aspect of it. I mean, when they're going into Trump Towers, the doors look like they're like a vault thick, but they look like they're made of solid gold type thing. I mean, I doubt they're solid gold, but you get what I'm trying to say. But you just kind of see that side of the lifestyle, not only for the Trumps and their family, but what they go through being the president, getting shuffled around.
Yeah.
Because we only see them walking in or walking out, but you don't see all the behind the scenes stuff.
Constant security.
So it was. I thought it was pretty cool. I really liked it, but it looked like it did pretty good in the box office. And in Loveland, we went to the Metrolux, and hey, it was probably about half full. So I was like, hey, that's pretty good.
I saw some comments on Facebook that said it's a horror movie.
Horror.
I can tell you how they voted.
I liked it. I thought it was pretty good. So I think she's.
It is interesting when you see the different lifestyles. Kelly's got a friend that invited us to her 80th birthday party. Yeah. And it was going to be at a barn west of Denver up Turkey Creek Road there. Mm-hmm. Okay. So we get the directions and pull up, and here's the barn. and they've got cutting horses that they raise there, and a big arena and a bar and a big area overlooks the arena and everything. And you got stalls for these horses that have floor drains, and you can wash the horse in the stall. And it's like, yeah, this isn't the barns that I grew up around.
Right. Yeah.
$20 million barn.
Yeah, for sure. For sure. Yeah. You walk into some of these places, the farm stores, and you see the horse stalls, and it's like, man, a horse stall where I grew up was a dirt floor and a small space, and that was it. So
that's right.
Yeah, they live in luxury now. That is for sure. So, well, fantastic. So, Eric, thanks for joining us today for the Truck Around and Find Out
Thanks for having
me. You sell insurance. You kind of focus on trucks, right?
I'm almost exclusively truck insurance, so auto liability, physical damage, cargo, workers' compensation, umbrella, etc. So 85% of what I do is in the trucking industry or transportation.
Perfect. Well, through the walk of life, tell us a little bit. How'd you start out? Where are you from?
I grew up in Greeley, Colorado. My folks are both from a town in eastern Colorado called Fort Morgan. They moved here when my dad went to school here in Greeley. So I was born and raised in Greeley, Colorado. I've managed to move all the way to Windsor in my 53 years. So I've moved about 15 miles to the west. So I'm kind of a homebody.
That's all right. I homesteaded Colorado too. I mean, we do have Keith who started off in Nebraska, but he made his way this way.
Yeah, I kind of went all the way around.
Yeah, you've been a lot
Minnesota, Montana, Nebraska, Colorado, back to Montana, and back to Colorado.
Yeah, so Keith has traveled. That's for sure. So you got out in Fort Morgan, and the sugar plant was probably really kicking back in those days. So
it's still kicking, honestly. You can smell it.
Yeah, yeah. It's that one thing about Fort Morgan is that one interesting odor that you don't
just
really
follow your nose.
It's sugar beets.
It's the sugar beets mash. Is that like the mash that kind of rots out there, or?
Well, they haul the beets into the Great Western Sugar Factory, and whatever they do with them from there to make them stink, I don't know. But I know we all need the sugar because I consume a lot.
Yeah, there you go. There you go. So you ended up going to CSU. So you graduated there in 1994.
Yep, I went to Colorado State in 1994. I pursued a football career there that was short-lived. Once I got there, it was apparent that the level of talent was far beyond myself. So I decided, hey, I'm going to get a job. So I went to work for a company in Windsor, but based in Grand Rapids, Michigan. We had a plant in Windsor, Colorado. The company was called Universal Forest Products, and I went there for probably the next 18 to 20 years of my life in the lumber industry. And that's how I kind of got connected to trucking, is because we built great relationships with flatbedders to haul our lumber loads. There was a crash in 2008 that kind of stunk for everybody. Particularly if you were in the building materials business or real estate.
Yeah, I remember that.
And so I made I don't know if it was the foolish idea to get in insurance. It's turned out great. It's been a huge blessing, but that's how I decided I wanted to be in the trucking industry. And that's because of the people that own the companies, the people that are keeping the company safe in the safety departments, and the professional relationships that I've been able to develop over the last 15 years in the trucking industry. The insurance part is not fun, but the people part is great.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I would agree with you there. Fantastic. So, and today we're seeing, and Keith and I have talked about this in the past with the insurance and the just kind of the rising cost, the recession that we're seeing in the trucking industry. What do you think some of the trends are today with the companies you're seeing, both that you have as clients, but that you're trying to bring in? What are some of the issues that you're seeing today?
Well, obviously drivers are a huge issue, driver turnover. Believe it or not, doesn't matter what company, but every underwriter looks at the tenure of the employees. They pay attention to obviously years of experience, but also years of experience with the particular motor carrier. So when we're doing a submission, they'll look heavily at driver stability, because new drivers typically and mathematically cause the accidents.
Sure.
Not necessarily new to the industry, but new to a company. So you could have been a dry van driver, and then you go to work at a dumping operation, and you got the experience, but not in the particular field of trucking.
Oh, I got you. The reason I was smiling at you while you're saying that is our table is like a cymbal when you smack the table.
It's like
so
a drum.
Keith and I both kind of looked at each other. It's something we learned in the beginning. So I'm a table smacker.
Yeah,
so
okay.
we started doing
I
that.
am too.
Yeah, it's okay. You did great. Yeah, I agree completely with you. And here, like at Front Range, it's why we focus so much of our time on driver compliance, because that is, of course, bad equipment can lead to a crash and things like that, but it all really boils back to the person controlling that, who we're hiring. And plus, I think the big focus right now at the FMCSA is the drivers, especially. They are looking right now at the English proficiency in that, but we've seen just such a high volume of crashes due to non-English speaking drivers or immigrant drivers without proper CDLs, or even without CDLs, period.
So if you have a company or a new company coming in, do they have to, obviously they share all their driver information with you. Is one of those questions, does this driver speak English?
Not on
Just
the
curious.
insurance application. No, not on the insurance
Okay.
application.
I just
The
didn't know.
English is not. Now, that's not to say with what the new push that will become a question on an application, but it's mostly they're looking at, they want the name, date of birth, CDL driver's license number, years of experience, and then years of experience with the motor carrier that's being submitted.
Okay. So in your experience, or kind of what you're looking at with companies, what is like some of the recommendations for hiring drivers with experience? I know, what Great West push, what they want, how many years before they get started, or to try to
2
bring them
years
in?
of experience, 23 years of age. And then obviously the question always comes up like, well, how am I supposed to get 2 years of experience when,
Yeah.
and that's still like the seventh wonder of the world. Like that's what they want.
It's the chicken and the egg.
Yeah. I suppose that they want you to gain that experience maybe in agriculture or a farm truck, or having that CDL where there's limited exposure. I'm only conjecturing, but
I get it. No, I get it. It makes a lot of sense, because you got, because we have so many companies, Great West with their requirements, they're not the only insurance company. There's a lot of good companies out there that aren't necessarily with Great West. So there's opportunities for people to go out and get their training. You got the drivers that'll get hired on by Swift or some of those other big companies that have their driver training programs. And, we all like to joke about those big companies and Swift and that kind of thing. But in all reality, they have a lot of really good miles and stuff like that. You can get good experience. And there's tons of other companies. So with Great West, it's like, hey, they encourage their people to not necessarily just hire 100% green. They're encouraged to shop that market and try to bring in the best drivers they can, so they can stay in that premium insurance market.
yeah. So most insurance companies, Great West included, but there's other truck insurance companies, they have a set of underwriting guidelines for each driver that are pretty rigid, because you're driving a 48-foot missile on the highway.
Sure.
And a lot is at stake. So they come up with these guidelines because when they go back 50 years, 100 years, or however long they've been in business, they find that there's a 700% higher chance they're going to get involved in a serious accident if they don't meet the guidelines. Now, that's not to say a young guy, a conscientious guy who doesn't meet all the guidelines, be it age or maybe only has a year experience, is going to get in a crash. But the data shows that if they don't meet the guidelines, that there might be a bad crash.
Well, okay.
So
Wow. So what do you kind of encourage your clients to do after maintaining and through that whole process? So you get a client and they're on their tracks. I know you and I have had some projects we've worked on and some stuff like that. But do you have some involvement, you and Flood and Pete, in trying to help them keep their programs moving forward and in the right direction?
Oh, sure. So between the professional relationships that we've made, you guys being one, right, is Keith on the equipment side, you on the safety and compliance side. We try to kind of surround them and wrap them around people that can help them stay safe, whether it's new technology in the equipment or just pure bulldog safety trainings and things such as that. And then we have our own people in-house at Flood and Peterson, a safety department that focuses on occupational health and safety, not so much DOT compliance. They can dabble in that, but they're just going to call you anyway for help. So we surround them with the right people, or at least we try, and we continue to check and monitor progress throughout the year and troubleshoot any particular issue that they may be having, and just wash, rinse, repeat throughout the year. But that's kind of our program, is just smother them with professionals that they know who to call and when and why.
Yeah, fantastic. What are some of the struggles that you see with like new companies today trying to come in and get in this insurance market?
Right. Well, it's a huge struggle, particularly because of the cost of insurance. That first $1 million of liability limits that you have to buy to satisfy the feds, and that's a big outlay if there was an accident. So they underwrite it hard. They price it higher than, say, a company that was 2 or 3 years old versus just starting out. The people that are just starting out have a tough climb because the new truck is expensive. They got to make payments on that. The insurance is likely going to be very expensive for the first 2 years, because the insurance companies want to see if the CEO can also drive the truck and run a business.
Yeah.
As they grow, as they gain experience, and they grow, say, loss-free or minor losses, then they'll look at you a little differently after 2 or 3 years, and typically the prices start coming down.
Yeah. I know, like with us, we get the new clients, sometimes Keith has sent us a few, but, sometimes that new client gets themselves a truck, and then they call and they start the DOT program. And our policy has been, when they're brand new and they're getting started, before we do anything, we tell them, get a hold of the insurance company, make sure that is rocking and rolling, and then come back to us. So we'll be the step right after you get that, because we have had so many occasions where the company is like, they're gung-ho, small, they're ready to start a 1-truck operation or a 2-truck operation, and then they get into the insurance, and they're like, that put the skids on it, and they decided. So we had some learning to do on our end, because they'd come to us after they bought the truck, we'd get everything built, and they hadn't paid us yet. Then they come back and say, yeah, we're done, we're not going to do any of that. And it's like, oh, well, we already did all this work.
That's a smart move.
And in good conscience, I was like, well, it sucks, but I'm also not the guy that's gonna make you pay, and let's figure this out.
Yeah.
So that's kind of been our position here, is like, for the new companies getting started, call the insurance company, make sure you got that side of that taken care of. Once you got a green light there, then we'll kind of jump in. And
the first 2 years are critical, because that's going to be the heavy expense years, and the experience that the owner will gain by, now I have these bills to take care of, versus just, getting paid to drive a truck. I've got to set aside money for maintenance and my truck payment and my insurance payment, and it's got to be on time.
Yeah.
And So there's some organization that comes into it.
That's absolutely fascinating. As many times as you've talked, I don't think our conversations have gone into that specifics of the first 2 years. I think that is such an absolutely important statement for these companies getting started off, getting their insurance company, that they just absolutely have to get it done and keep their nose clean. You know, that's like a probation period, right? They need to make sure that they're taking care of the business and all is good. So, yeah, fantastic. Well, and today with the prices of insurance, what's kind of some of the driving forces you feel going on with some of these insurance prices?
Yeah, it's we are in a market that there are, well, we've all heard of the term nuclear verdicts.
Yeah.
Since 2000, the percentage increase of nuclear verdicts, meaning verdicts over $10 million, has risen by 5x.
Wow.
So from 2000 to 2026, there might have been 10 million verdicts in the United States, and now there's 50 or 100 or 150. I'm not sure of the exact number.
There's a lot, yeah.
And what it really boils down to is an insurance underwriter cannot predict with any certainty severity or liability. What used to be a $5,000 fender bender, $5,000, here you go away, is now becoming $500,000.
Wow.
You know what I mean? Just the cost of claims have risen. You know, a truck isn't $110,000 anymore either. So the values of the equipment have gone up a lot. The time in the mechanic's office or shop has gone up a ton. So what used to be a much smaller claim is now huge. As you know, it's pretty litigious out there. There's some companies that specialize in capitalizing on other people's misery, and frankly are driving the cost of the claim up, in my opinion. But if we all keep our nose clean and do the right things and be defensible, we should be okay.
Well, yeah, I agree. It's these insurance rates are astronomical, and I think we got to get some constitutional tort law to help slow it down, because it seems like instead of a jury awarding a verdict, it's like they're rewarding. They're looking at it in the wrong way, and they're just like, well, the trucking company shouldn't have done that, so we're going to we think this guy deserves this much money, and it's astronomically.
You know, it's funny. We were in Boise, Idaho last year at a conference, leadership conference, and an attorney gave a presentation, a plaintiff's attorney gave a presentation of what happens when we're in a truck crash. And he kind of got up there, and maybe you were still
I was there. Yeah.
And the attorney basically said, "This is what I'm going to do to you." And
it was an interesting perspective.
And
Really?
one of the things is that they're going to try to pack the jury with this is just a presentation. This is not my opinion.
Of course.
With younger people that don't know the value of a dollar. Well, let's give them $8 million. Let's give them $12 million. And they're doing it to punish,
Yeah.
So accidents are always going to happen, guys. Some of them are going to be our fault. Some of them aren't. But if you're doing the right things year in and year out, day in and day out, and you're documenting the training and the discipline and the files and proving that you're doing the right things consistently, then you're defensible.
Yeah. Keith, you know what I just heard him say? That they need to stay off the radar. That sounds kind of familiar, doesn't it?
Sounds familiar.
Yeah, it sounds real familiar. Yeah, I hear you.
It's a tagline from somewhere.
The one statement where I would disagree with you on is you said they're doing it to punish. I don't think these lawyers that are out here on the billboards that we see up and down the highway, I don't think they're doing it to punish. I think they found a real quick way, like Slick Willie, and they can just go and make their money, because these lawsuits are a big business. I mean, you've heard me say it. Keith and I have talked about it, man. I mean, I was blown away. I don't know if I've told you, but when we were in Vermont, and I'm flipping through local channels, and Frank Azar pops up out in Vermont, and he's not advertising you get into a crash in Vermont. He's advertising in Vermont. Did you get in a crash with a truck in Colorado?
Yeah.
I mean, wasn't like if you got in an
Wow.
accident, call me. It's like, did you get hit by a truck? Did you get in an accident with a crush? Didn't talk about fault. Didn't talk about injury. He said, if you got involved in a crash with the truck, call me. And a lot of the companies I see, when I talk with clients, and they get really frustrated because they're like, the insurance company just settles and we weren't even at fault. They should have fought it. And I'm like, I've kind of changed my tone with that, because you and I have worked on a couple different projects where there was a crash, there was a settlement, and it was like, hey, I don't even think this was the truck that was involved. I don't want to name names, but I think you remember that one up on I-70 when that happened with that tanker. I've kind of learned, I think what is actually happening is I think the insurance companies, let's just hurry up and get this quick settlement so we can prevent it from becoming something that we see that's happening on all these commercials with these lawyers trying to get these huge verdicts, and they're doing damage control.
You look at some of his commercials, and it's like these trucking companies need to pay.
Yeah.
Or these big trucking companies have money, and it's like I don't think they understand the razor thin margins that a lot of this stuff operates on.
Oh yeah, yeah. Well, I think there's been some big businesses that have gone out of business here as of lately, just because that kind of thing. So yeah,
No, it's going to continue to be a challenge, and that's why the relationships that you guys bring to the table, and other professional relationships, as well as the insurance broker, just need to get around those clients and know who to call and why and when for that support, because it could be pretty stressful.
Well, I get to work with a lot of different people in my walk of life, and as far as insurance professionals, you're my favorite. Not only because we've become friends through the years, but I just see how good you are to your clients. Different events. You're always there for them. I mean, last Monday we just drove all the way out just to go talk to somebody for 45 minutes, just to give them the warm and fuzzies and to just let them know that you're there for them. And you really do. When you say, hey, you're trying to just really help surround them by professionals to give them the resources and the guidance that they know, you are the one agent that I've worked with that I've ever truly actually seen that with. I get a lot of big talk from others, and I know some insurance companies have their own professionals, safety professionals, but most of them don't, let's be honest, right? So a couple of the big ones do. But I've seen that with you a lot, and I've seen how much you care. I think I've even seen one event, where some of your clients maybe took advantage of you when you were, a little inebriated one night. We won't talk about that, but I do want to bring up
Which night?
Yeah, right. I do want to talk about
Is this
that.
live?
You do have an event coming up. Unfortunately, it's my last day in Jamaica, and I can't make it to that. But you do an annual pheasant hunt with a client or a prospect or one or two people.
We try to have a little fun. Trucking is a hard business, and believe it or not, insurance is.
Yeah,
and
it is.
So one day a year, we try to get out to a place out in eastern Colorado and unwind and shoot some pheasants and have a little fun, and
We've had a
talk
good
shop
time.
for a few hours.
So
and
we like to go out to your buddies out at
Long Meadow
Long
Event
Meadow.
Center.
I was thinking Meadow
Long Meadow,
stuck in my head. Long Meadow, yeah, it's a super good time. Heath runs a great place out there. Go out and do some sporting clays and hang out. And that's
Matter of fact, years ago, I got Heath and Long Meadow Events that are connected with the Colorado Motor Carriers Association maybe 10 years ago. And now he hosts the Colorado Motor Carrier Association Sporting Clay Tournament every year, or at least the past 10.
Yeah.
So the clients are fairly familiar with the property.
Yeah, it's pretty great. It's
And if you're
a lot of fun.
If for some people who don't know what it is, if you're along I-76 at about Wiggins, it's 5-6 miles south of Wiggins. Beautiful event center out in the middle of nowhere.
It is.
Keith
absolutely.
does a great job. Sporting clay, all kinds of sporting clay stuff there, and shooting, and they got prairie dog shooting, got pheasants. You can do all kinds of stuff.
Yeah.
I think it's just
Yeah. Well,
He's got a website. Just look up Long Meadow Event Center.
Yeah, my bachelor party there.
That's right.
After
We
your
did have a good
recommendation,
time.
and well, you and some of my buddies out there, and we went to the Prairie Dog Hole. That's his little personal
Poker
game room,
area.
poker room. Had a good time out there. Yeah, Heath has a fantastic little place out there. But yeah, so you do some hunts and some shoots out there, and then of course, like you said, CMCA. So
And kind of going to what you were saying, Ryan, if you have a company, it's kind of like Robert Kiyosaki says, if you're going to be investing in real estate and doing real estate, get a team put together. And that's kind of what we're looking at here is we got 3 guys at this table that are all part of a team, and we could have a 4th guy that owns his own trucking company. And we've got a lot of his problems handled right here.
yeah,
So that's the whole key to it is don't just do it on your own.
yeah,
Get a team put together. And if you want to start a trucking company, start doing some research, but you got to get a team put together. It may not be us, but get a team put together.
yeah.
Or it could be us.
I prefer it would be us.
Yeah, of course. Well, Keith and I have been kind of kicking around the idea of getting an organization of a group together, and it's been rough just kind of thinking about doing something like an association or something like that where where a group of professionals can come together, a little bit more than just a master class meeting, and a little bit different than the Friday safety meeting. Get an actual group together where we have a meeting to order type situation, and bring in some professionals. We've got
Fantastic idea.
CMCA, who has been a phenomenal group, but they more focus on the trucking industry, and I think on this side, this would be more on the safety and the business and the maintenance, but it'd be more of something like that. So
I think it's a great idea.
Fleet managers,
fleet managers,
purchasing agents,
everything,
things like that.
Specific to
kind of, in the past, it kind of called it like a mastermind group, but this would be way more than that. This would be connecting good guys and women with other good people, so that this guy may know excavators, and you may not, but you may need one. It's like, who would you get this from?
Yeah.
And kind of work together that way.
Fantastic idea.
Between fleet and then also safety, to go kind of like a fleet safety association or something. I don't know. We're kind of kicking it around. But
I think it would be extremely successful. There's a real need for it. I think there's a hunger for it in the industry. You're right. Colorado Motor Carriers Association does a fantastic job, but it's not always convenient to drive to Denver in rush hour traffic to get to a 1-hour meeting. And it's also not convenient to do after hours stuff way down in Denver, especially if you're from up here. Not that we don't, but it's harder.
Sure.
So I think it'd be a great idea.
I used to be on the board of directors for Associated Builders and Contractors, the Rocky Mountain region. Mm-hmm. In those 3 years I was on the board, I spent more money on fuel than I spent on our dues. Yeah. I mean, I was always going to Denver.
Yeah. And we don't really have anything like that up here. Yeah, we got the upstairs, right? So we got the training, my classroom upstairs that we could utilize to. We want to start hosting some meetings, some stuff like that. But yeah, it's just kind of something we're kicking around. I've been pulling up some info, trying to figure out what we got to do, and it seems doable. We just got to see if we can get some interest, get some people involved.
So without naming any names, what's your worst claim ever?
Ooh.
So while you're thinking, that is good truck around and find out topic.
Mm-hmm.
The worst one I've read about, or my personal
Your
worst?
Personal.
Oh, I would.
And just keep it high level. No names, no nothing like that.
No details that are going to identify anybody. And you put him on the spot.
Mm-hmm. He works best that way.
I can't name one, but it involved a multiple fatality, horrible accident. Felt terrible for the driver. It was exactly what it was, an accident. It wasn't anything vicious or just human error, and unfortunately, people lost their lives. The driver did get injured as well, both physically and mentally.
I'm sure.
And we just did our best to defend them. And I know people in this room also helped to defend them. And it ended up, with the exception of the tragic loss of life, it ended up being okay business-wise.
They did. I know who exactly you're talking about. And I was thinking when anybody ever asked me what's the worst incident, that it would be that situation, because that summer that crash that you're referring to happened. It's a blur. It was midsummer, and then the entire rest of the summer for me is just lost in a haze, because we were just surrounded by that event. And luckily that particular company, I mean, you talk about trying to keep your nose clean, they had done the work. I had worked with them for 3.5 years before that incident even happened, and they had actually done the work to clean themselves up. And then that event happened, and that was a horrible, horrible day for that company. But like you said, due to the work that they'd done, due to the programs and relationships they built, they survived it. They tried to go after them, but they got out of it pretty clean, and they're still trucking down the road today. So it's pretty awesome.
Yeah.
Good story.
So what's the funniest or strangest claim you ever had?
Well, this one wins the bonehead claim of the century, but there was a particular operation up here in northern Colorado that was trying to move a large piece of equipment, and when they realized they couldn't do it on one of their flatbed trailers, well, they backed up another trailer and butted the trailers up together, put the piece of equipment resting on both trailers, and one kind of pudged along in reverse and one went forward to try to move this piece of equipment, and that did not work well. The piece of equipment just kind of collapsed, if you can imagine the two trailers. And I recall getting the phone call, and my first words was, "Wait, you did what?" I appreciated the ingenuity and the...
So what was the claim for?
Well, the trailers got busted up, and the piece of equipment fell on the ground.
Got it.
Just
You did what?
You did what? Oh, goodness. I'm sure that through the years, just the different things that you come up, we kind of put you on the spot to come up with something quick, but you'll leave here and be like, oh, I had like 3 other ideas.
I got lots.
Yeah, I bet. Fantastic. Well, good. Well, good deal. Keith, do you have anything else you want to ask Mr. Eric?
No, I think I'm good.
I do have one thing I got to throw out there for people that are listening. Weekend before last, we had a situation, trucking company, and this is going to be my truck around and find out. It's a serious issue though. We had one of our clients they got into a crash over the weekend. They were way up in, one of those areas that doesn't have anybody around, but they can drive down. And they called us. Crash happened like on a Friday night, and they called us on Monday and said, let us know. And, we asked them. It was a CDL driver. Driver got a ticket. It was an injury or towaway. I don't remember the exact specifics, but doesn't matter. Drug and alcohol testing was required, and they just straight up didn't do it. They said, well, it was like 1:00 in the morning on Friday, and we didn't know who to call, and with a couple places that were where we were at were closed, so we just didn't do it, and they called us on Monday. So my whole point is that's part of our service that we provide. I don't care if it's so if you're one of my clients, you're listening, even if you're not, we'll help you out. We might, if you wake me up at 1 and I'm helping you, probably send you a bill, but it's got to get done. You can't just skip it just because you don't know what to do. And it's when we talk about surrounding yourself with people, so important to make sure that you work with your team so you know what's there. Nicole called me. She wanted me to put out a training and let everybody know. I'm like, our clients know this. They made a bad choice that night. So when you get into that crash, call us. I don't care what time of day is it. Give us a call. We will locate. We have access to 15,000 testing facilities. We will locate one that's close to you where we can get a collection done in the middle of the night, whatever the closest is. You can't just skip it because it's too far of a drive. The DOT is not going to accept that. The obligation is to get them tested, as soon as possible, up to 2 hours, but no later than 8. unless you have a good reason why you can't do it, and you have up to 32 to do your drug testing.
Quick question.
Yeah.
Is that an accident that would make a DOT drug test mandatory? Is it still the old adage, nurse or hearse?
Nurse, hearse, or tow.
Nurse, hearse, or tow.
Yeah, those are the three words. You don't have to worry about fault with it. Well, with drug and alcohol, a DOT accident is a nurse, hearse, or tow, regardless of fault. But drug and alcohol testing is you have to throw in an injury or a tow away. So a person had to seek immediate medical treatment away from the scene, not wake up tomorrow a little stiff, see Frank on TV and go, oh, I'm hurt, that kind of thing. That don't count. You have to go from the scene to seek medical help, and then a vehicle had to be towed. But the key word to that is due to disabling damage. So yeah, nurse, hearse, or tow, and then a fatality, you always test no matter what. But the whole point in my truck around to find out is call us. Like, don't call us on Monday and say, hey, we didn't know what to do, so we just thought we didn't want to wake you up. That's part of our service, so we're there for you. So don't, we're going to have a real, if the DOT checks and stops in to check that test and that program, well, we're not going to have any ammo to protect that particular company from that situation. And failure to do that, that's going to be a two critical violations for failure to do both of those tests. So that's going to be a big ouch. So don't let that happen.
It's going back to what I said earlier is the cost of the claim goes down when the company is defensible. And you're talking about that right there.
Yeah, 100%. Fantastic. Well, thank you all for joining us. Mr. Easy E, Eric. Thank you so much, Mr. Zurbrigen, for joining us. If you need a good agent, make sure you reach out to Flood and Peterson, Eric Zurbrigen. He specializes in the truck insurance. If you don't have his contact, Keith or I, either one can share that with you. But thank you so much for coming in, Eric. And with that, thank you to all of our listeners, our drivers, our companies for keeping America moving forward. Keep our shiny side up, and thanks for joining us on Truck Around and Find Out.
Thank you.
God bless you guys.